What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios, back at it with another debate episode. Today's debate episode, we're going to be talking about Kong versus Shin Legendary Godzilla, a very anticipated matchup. So here's the plan, folks. As usual, we're going to go over the backstories of these two giant creatures. We're basically going to analyze them to the fullest extent, and then we're going to put them up against each other in a death battle. So without further ado, let's begin with the backstories of these two kaijus, and this time let's begin with the adversary, Shin Legendary Godzilla, first. So, let's begin with the backstory. Shin Legendary Godzilla was created when Legendary Godzilla, obviously the 2019 Godzilla, or you can now call 2021 Godzilla, was swimming in the Pacific Ocean looking for Ghidorah to make his claim of the king of the monsters, but instead came across something even more deadlier than Ghidorah himself, the first baby form of Shin Godzilla. Baby Shin Godzilla swam into Godzilla's gills all the way into his stomach and corrupted Godzilla's 2019 DNA and mixed Shin Godzilla DNA in the same DNA as one to be. So imagine putting two DNAs together and combining them. After that, the infected Godzilla, now known as Shin Legendary Godzilla, is looking for vengeance against Shin Godzilla till this day, but instead he's gonna come across Kong. So basically, to summarize this, baby Shin went into Legendary Godzilla's dorsal plates and mixed both DNAs into one, corrupting the DNA actually, and creating this weird hybrid, messed up creature. Now, the height of Shin Legendary Godzilla is approximately 135 meters tall. Abilities, we're going to do a quick skim, and then we're going to come back, so don't worry. So it goes as follows: atomic lasers, dorsal plate lasers, kiss of the Grim Reaper, regeneration ability, and the King of Time. Now, don't worry, I said I will come back and explain all of them. Aggression level is high, territorial level is high, and biome is ocean, land, and volcano. Now, if you are a constant viewer of the debate series, you'll notice how come this biome isn't actually unlimited, since it's a Shin creature, and I'll explain that soon when we go back to the abilities, which are what we're doing right now. So let's go back to the abilities and let's talk about it. First, we have the atomic lasers. Now, the atomic lasers is simple. It comes from Shin DNA, and it has literally the exact same atomic lasers as Shin has. The purple lasers that just cut through everything and are very powerful as well. That's literally what it has, as I said, because of the same DNA function. Now, with that said, the dorsal plate lasers are a little bit different. Now, the dorsal plates are mixed. They have the Shin-looking plates, but they're kind of also a little bit deformed to look into the legendary dorsal plates as well. And since it's a mixture of DNAs, it had the most impact here. And what happened is, the purple laser now kind of mixes with the bluish, purple-bluish, well, it's more bluish, atomic breath of Godzilla, Legendary Godzilla. And the two mix together, and it's a hybrid laser from the dorsal plates, and it's much more powerful as it combines two of the strengths of the laser and the atomic breath from Legendary Godzilla. And it could rip up flesh very easily. So, don't mess with this Godzilla, is what this means. Now, we have an interesting one. This is Kiss of the Grim Reaper. Now, you're going to tell me, well, isn't this the same ability that Legendary Godzilla himself has, that he performed on the female Muto in the first Godzilla film in 2014? And my answer is absolutely not. Now, the ability has basically the same name, and it does the same way of finishing the opponent, but the way it's conducted is actually a bit different. You see, regular Godzilla, as a Legendary Godzilla, would do the Kiss of the Grim Reaper by opening up the mouth of the opponent and blasting the atomic breath in the mouth. This one is different. The atomic laser gets turned on, including the dorsal plate lasers, and both the dorsal plate laser and the atomic laser curve and combine together and then blast into the mouth of the opponent. Now tell me this isn't way more brutal. It is. And it's a guaranteed kill, and it's called the Kiss of the Grim Reaper. Next we have Regeneration ability, and basically it comes from Shin DNA. As you know, he can regenerate very quickly from the original Shin, and he can evolve and adapt from Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 to Form 4, and pushing to Form 5 if we ever get another part. So the evolutionary basis helps it to basically regenerate very quickly and efficiently. And finally we have the King of Time. This Godzilla is able to put his foot down, basically have a large step or stomp on the ground faster than time itself, and because of that can actually pause time for about 15 seconds. And so he can do something special in 15 seconds, and it could completely surprise the opponent. So he's basically going future or front in time in 15 seconds, and everyone else stays constantly in the regular time because of this ability, the King of Time. Alright, folks. Oh, well, actually, take that back. No, folks, not alright. Well, let me explain why the biome is not unlimited, and that's because most kaijus who have a more dominant Shin DNA can basically evolve and adapt to live in any biome. But in this instance, the Shin was a baby Shin, and the DNA wasn't as efficient, or you could say sufficient enough to completely take over the body, but it was enough to completely, deform the creature and hybridize it, but it wasn't enough to take over the basis of powerful evolutionary powers. So this Godzilla lacks that because it's not enough DNA. So he's still an Earthling and can't evolve to live in space, but others can. But this one cannot because the Shin DNA is not as powerful, and most people who just continue to watch debate videos will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, this is going to sum up Shin Legendary Godzilla, folks. Let's go ahead and move on to the King of Skull Island, and now the Hollow Earth, Kong himself. So, Kong, or known as the King of Skull Island and the King of the Hollow Earth, is a giant superspecies of ape that has grown to immense size. From Kong Skull Island, where Kong was only an infant, he has fully grown, now making himself equal to the size of Godzilla. Oh yeah, definitely he has. Now, with that being said, and that not being the only one, he now has super intelligent abilities and massive strength, which makes him a super threat to any kaiju, ever. And that is a guaranteed. Now, abilities, we're going to do a quick skim, and we'll come back to it. Basically, we're going to do the same process, okay? So, we have Unmatched Agility, Super Intelligence, able to jump anywhere, super fast Death Punch, and Godzilla Dorsal Plate Axe. I kind of said super fast and Death Punch pretty quickly. They're actually two separate abilities, so hopefully we don't get that or those two mixed up at all. Anyways, now let's move on to some more information. The Territorial is actually maximum, Aggression is maximum, and the biome is Earth. Okay, now let's go back to the abilities and let's do a deep analysis of what these even are. So, Unmatched Agility. I am not going to debate that with anyone. It is guaranteed and promised that Kong is the most agile kaiju of all. And I'm serious. There is no kaiju that's going to match the agility. Godzilla gets very close, very, very close, but Kong is the most agile. He's a giant monkey for crying out loud. Now we have a super intelligence. As I said, he is a gorilla. He was able to literally learn a language to speak to humans through sign language. Show me any Titan that does that, and my name is not EI Entertainment Studios. So, he's the most intelligent kaiju out there. After that, but let me explain the significance actually, which means he can plan attacks and ambushes and all that cool stuff, right? Next, he has the ability to jump anywhere. Literally, I mean, it's literally self-explanatory. I mean, literally, it's self-explanatory. He can jump anywhere, from buildings to trees to rocks. I mean, it really does indeed help him in his fight or ability to fight because he's so agile and he jumps everywhere. Next, we have super fast. Basically, and that's all it is, super fast. And basically, he's very fast and he could run and kick and do all this cool stuff in a very fast amount of time. After that, we have the Death Punch, which is basically he has giant muscles and giant arms and very long arms, so he has a pretty good reach. If you know MMA or boxing, you know how important reach is. And in this instant, if he gets the right timing and the right punch with the right uppercut, it's a death punch, because with that amount of strength, he can kill an opponent. That's why it's called a death punch. Alright, folks? And then he has the Godzilla dorsal plate axe, where his ancestors got it and ripped the dorsal plate from Godzilla. And he can use that to obviously stab his opponents, but most importantly, it actually takes in, absorbs Godzilla's atomic breath, and it can explode on Godzilla or any opponent if it obtains the atomic breath. Alright, folks. This sums up both of the kaijus. Let's move on to the final and last part we've all been waiting for, and that is the death battle. So what we're gonna do, it's best out of two, far range and close range. Alright? Far range, the reason why I do it is because some of the abilities are going to be limited, and we're trying to see if a kaiju can still win a battle with sometimes its most crucial abilities being limited. It's a great and wonderful way to test out an opponent. And then obviously close range is just all out war. Now with far range, there is one specific rule, obviously including the ones that the abilities get deducted. Some of them, we'll see which ones when we go over the abilities. The creatures, obviously it's far range, so they cannot, and I repeat, they cannot have physical contact with each other, meaning they have to be 700 meters apart. Now that's a pretty big distance. So, let's see what abilities Kong can or cannot use in terms of far range. So Unmatched Agility, that's just a personal ability, has nothing to do with range, so sure. Super Intelligence has nothing to do with range, it's for itself, sure. Able to jump anywhere, limited. He can jump anywhere as long as he does not jump physically to touch or hurt the opponent, because there is no physical touch in this part of the battle. Super fast, as I said, same thing applies to the last ability, so he can use that for defensive abilities in this instant. Death Punch absolutely cannot be used because Death Punch needs physical contact, and Godzilla Dorsal Plate Axe can be used if he can obtain the atomic breath. Alright. Now let's go to Shin Legendary Godzilla and see what abilities he can or cannot use. So, atomic lasers are made to go far distance, so yes, indeed. Dorsal plate lasers, same thing. Of course, they're meant to go far distance lasers, so those will work. Kiss of the Grim Reaper obviously will not work because he needs physical contact with the opponent, so Kiss of the Grim Reaper is absolutely invalid. I was gonna say just invalid, but no, I'm gonna say absolutely invalid because I'm extra like that. And then we have the Regeneration ability. It has nothing to do with how far you are from your opponent. It's a personal internal ability, so yes. And the King of Time can also be used, but can be used if it's, say, 300 meters. From 400 meters, it's a bit too far, so I think I personally believe it won't affect that far of a distance, so we're just gonna go with a big fat no. Okay. Beginning the battle, personally, from the, attributes of Kong, I don't see him being the first one to attack, because Shin Legendary Godzilla will be the one to actually be a threat. He will actually be the one to attack him, causing for Kong to get aggravated. Shin Legendary Godzilla is obviously going to use the atomic laser. Now that by itself is obviously going to do a lot of damage, because Kong himself is very big, he's very strong, but at the end of the day, he's not a creature like Godzilla or Ghidorah, or even Rodan. His body is not scaly. He doesn't have plates protecting it. It's just flesh. It's just like human skin, just grown 50 billion times the size and thicker. But at the end of the day, it's still soft flesh and bones. And the atomic laser, like for example, against Godzilla himself, it's gonna be pretty hard to push through the skin or basically penetrate the skin. But for Kong, it's very, very easy. And the dorsal plates, especially on Godzilla, protect them, right? And even Kong doesn't have that. So the atomic laser, it's definitely going to rip his flesh. I don't care if it's the first time, the second time, the third time he's using it, it's going to rip the flesh. And this first attack is going to cause a lot of damage to Kong. And what's Kong going to do? Kong needs to capitalize on the specific atomic breaths to use the dorsal plate axe, because at the end of the day, there still is legendary DNA, and legendary atomic breath can and will be absorbed by the dorsal plate axe. And at one point, Kong is going to be moving really fast. So Shin Legendary Godzilla is going to start missing Kong with the atomic laser. So he's going to go and revolt to a new strategy, because Kong is so fast, it's really hard to get him. So what he's going to do, he's going to turn around from the far distance and use a dorsal plate laser. It's like thousands of lasers, just like Shin Godzilla, shooting in almost every freaking direction. And it's definitely going to catch Kong, but it's also going to catch Kong's dorsal plate axe. And unfortunately, it's not going to charge fully, because remember, we have Shin DNA and Legendary DNA in this instance, but it's going to charge enough to use. Now, unfortunately, this can be used only once. As we saw in the film, Kong needs to hit the opponent with the axe. So when it's completely charged, Kong is going to completely get the axe and throw it towards Shin Legendary Godzilla, and it's going to do a lot of damage, and I believe it's going to cut off one of the arms. At least some part of the body. Or we're going to go, it's going to cut off one of the arms. And with enough time, the regeneration ability should cover that. But since it can be used only once and it will do damage, after that, Kong is obviously helpless. With the atomic lasers and the dorsal plate lasers, it's going to completely fry and kill Kong in a gruesome, it's going to rip his flesh all apart. So therefore, Shin Legendary Godzilla, even though it was a pretty good battle, and I believe Shin Legendary Godzilla at one point will have difficulties, Shin Legendary Godzilla will be the winner of far range. Let's move on to close range now, and let's see what's up. So let's take this into consideration first. Shin Legendary Godzilla is 135 meters tall, while Kong, I believe, yes, is only 102 meters long. Or tall. I should say tall. I don't know why I said long. I meant tall for both of them, obviously. Anyways, it's not the biggest difference, but there is a significant difference between Shin Legendary Godzilla and Kong. Now, it's not like it's 100 against 200 meters, but again, there is some bit of a difference. So, personally, I believe that Kong is going to be faster, more agile, and is going to completely wreck Shin Legendary Godzilla's world. Shin Legendary Godzilla has the atomic laser, and I just personally think that Shin Legendary Godzilla is going to be very bulky, and it's not going to have the super agility that the newest Godzilla had in Godzilla vs. Kong. Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla was very agile. Not as agile as Kong, but very, very freaking agile. One of the most agile Godzillas I've ever seen. Shin Legendary Godzilla, I just personally don't see that happening. So with the atomic laser, when he tries to use it, Kong is going to be all over him, jumping around, and is going to get to a point where he's going to cause at least 40% of health all gone against Shin Legendary Godzilla because of the axe. He's going to keep on jumping around and just stabbing Shin Legendary Godzilla in various places of the body and causing a lot of damage. But again, and it comes to the point when Shin Legendary Godzilla, since they're, right next to each other, he's going to use the King of Time. This is a great ability. He's going to stop 15 seconds. And that 15 seconds, he's going to quickly, because since Kong is keep on attacking him, he can't do it. With that 15 seconds, he's going to quickly charge up the dorsal plate lasers. And he is going to catch Kong. And with that said, if he gets Kong, which he is, out of 1,000 lasers, at least 300 of them to get him from close distance are going to cause a lot of damage. And at that point, the dorsal plate acts as useless because Kong is so damaged. All he needs to do is use the atomic laser at that one point, and Kong is toast. And again, I believe Kong gave a good fight, but again, I see Shin Legendary Godzilla being the winner here. So I'm going to say 2-0. Shin Legendary Godzilla is the winner. Now this is obviously just my analysis and my opinion. You can disagree if you want to, and you can actually debate me in the comment section below. I would love to have a discussion and debate you. It'll be really cool. This is basically my opinion on the outcome, and it's 2-0 for Shin Legendary Godzilla. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a great and wonderful day.